opportunity to learn and be with a group of strong people who, despite the circumstances, the pandemic that we are experiencing, and other challenges that we are facing, we still are here virtually and mentally present for this class. We ask for your guidance as we go along with our lessons today. This we ask in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen. In the name of the Father,
Amen.
and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Kumusta
Yes,
man mo?
ma'am.
Lumalaban, ma'am.
Lumalaban. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Sige. Nice to hear. Ana jo, dapat strong lang. Okay, so welcome to this class. Since ano pa lang to, never pa ko ninyo na teacher. So I will be somehow introducing myself and then some preliminaries. I will not be making this day or this first meeting na to very heavy sa inyo ha. As much as possible, dili kayo siya mentally draining. Okay, so and then you are very free to ask questions during my presentation if may questions. Okay, so but before we go to the formal start of the introduction of the subject, I'll be presenting first some preliminaries, okay, for this class that hopefully we will all be able to follow. Okay, so nakashare na niyo siya sa classroom and then pwede niyo siya i-check if wala pa ninyo siya na-check later. Okay? So kindly tell me if di ko klaro and if there are instances wherein medyo mag-choppy ko, you can raise or you can tell me para I can go back to where na dili siya clear. Okay, so for the preliminaries, so this course is machine learning under the course code ELECT 026. So it's about somehow extracting knowledge from data. So although not all will be data driven, but the whole course will be about extracting knowledge and then trying to make or create programs that are knowledge-based. It is a research field at the intersection of statistics, computer science, and mathematics. Okay, so although if you're going to look at the three fields, statistics, computer science, and mathematics, okay, there will be what you call this, activities na more on very applied siya since we are in the information technology na program. Okay? So as much as possible, although machine learning itself, the course itself is highly mathematical, pero since we are in the BSIT, we should be able to apply those techniques, those concepts that we will be able to learn in this course and then make an application out of it. Okay? And then the subject or machine learning itself is known, some would actually refer it as predictive analytics or statistical learning. Okay, so later on as we go along with our discussion, maybe in the next few days, you will know kung bakit siya tinatawag din na statistical learning because most of its underlying principles, mathematical principles, are actually based on statistics. So if okay ang inyong background sa statistics na subject, this will not be very difficult for you. Okay, so although I will still be reviewing you, or I will still be explaining again the different concepts or mathematical principles in statistics, as well as some in mathematics, like discrete structures, algebra, and some calculus. Although di na ako kayo i-delve into sa calculus na part, but there will be a time wherein kailangan nato ma-review ang calculus na subject. Okay, so this course tackles both the theoretical and applied concepts of machine learning. Okay? Although BSIT ta, and then, or some of us at BSCS, dili nato lang kayo mag-focus ta sa applied na part. Okay, it's very, very important for us to also know what happened. Okay, so bakit ganyan yung result? We should be able to explain why and how the things happened in our programs, okay, or our systems probably, or apps na ato ang mahimo at the end of this course. Okay, hence at the end of the course, students are expected to know at hand what machine learning algorithm to use given a data and a task. So basically, that's my end goal for this course. Now, like say for example, you are given a certain problem and given a certain data, you should be able to identify what machine learning technique are you going to apply to solve the problem given a data. Okay, so happy na kayo na pag at the end of this course, you will have that kind of confidence na mabuhat ninyo na siya. Okay, so how do we do that? We should be able to have a strong knowledge about the different machine learning algorithms. Okay, so that's basically the whole macro view of what this course is all about. Okay, so I will be using, most of my references will be from these 3 books, and then some would be some materials or some terms or definitions would come from some web links. Okay, so but if you have time, you can scan these 3 books. Okay, it's available on the web. Dali lang niyo siya i-search given the title and then the author. Okay, next. Okay, so the whole course will run for 9 weeks. Okay, except sa katong mga 9 week na wala tayo klase, no? Okay, so I know that next week would be intramurals. So there will be some movements of this, but I've already allotted a week sa last, I think week 8 or week 9 for the buffer period. So if we really cannot do some makeup class, na ako'y buffer period, so week 8 or week 9. Okay, so for the week 1, so this will be the outline of the course. So this is what we will be learning as we go along with our lessons for those 9 weeks. Okay, so week 1, day 1, which is today, we'll be learning what is machine learning and why we should do machine learning. What will be the programming languages, the tools and libraries that we will be using, or the hardware that I will be requiring if there is any. So mag-require ba yung hardware? And then wellsprings of machine learning. So where is the concept of machine learning came about, and then applications, data, and problems. Okay, so medyo dili pa kayo ni siya mentally exhausting. So medyo lang siya more on concepts and some histories of machine learning, where it comes from, and so on and so forth. And then day 2, which will be on October 15, we'll be learning. So this time medyo na siya. We'll start with we'll start discussing with different data types, learnings, vectors, output, how do you do training, and then what is performance evaluation. Okay, and then we'll have some programming problems for this one. And then week 2, 20 and 22. So if ma-move siya, ano na lang nato, kindly move na lang the dates. Okay, so we'll start with supervised learning, And then, so these are the different algorithms. So as what I have said a while ago, the goal of this subject is that you should be able to identify what kind of machine learning algorithm or machine learning technique that you're going to use given a certain data or given data and given a task or a problem. Okay, so are you going to do classification and regression? Are you going to do generalization, or are you going to do what you call this prediction? Are you going to do, these are different tasks. Are you going to do simple recognition or identification ng mga tasks? Okay, so given a certain problem or a task, there are different ways that you can achieve those or you can solve those type of problems. Okay, you can either use these different supervised machine learning algorithms like ANN, some linear models, okay, naive-Bayes. Okay, this can be the method that you can use. Pwede niyo siya. Or you can use decision trees in symbols or support vector machines. So these are different supervised machine learning algorithms. Okay, so kung matanaw, we'll learn how or when is a certain problem classified to be or can be solved by a supervised machine learning algorithm. That's one thing. Kailangan na tumaybalaan kung, okay, pwede ni siya na supervised learning na ako gamiton or unsupervised. Okay? So, this are, medyo ano ni siya, there are still mga mathematical concepts na i-follow na to there, especially kaning KNN and naive-Bayes, which are based on probabilities. So we will be reviewing probabilities on this one. Kailangan natin magamit nato natong mga natunan nato during our statistics na subject. Okay? So, di lang takay sa papel, but we should be able to make a program or a system out of it. Okay, so that's using this type of algorithm. And then on week 3, we'll start with the artificial neural network. So the ANN can actually be applied or can be classified to be a supervised learning algorithm. Pwede din siya unsupervised machine learning algorithm. It depends on, again, the problem and the task. So, if, say, for example, you are given a certain problem and then you choose to apply a neural network for that one, a certain algorithm. So basically, ANN is the method or the algorithm if you're going to compare it with the other algorithms. So kani ang compare mo say, are you going to use a neural network? Are you going to use a support vector machine for that? Are you going to use a decision tree? Are you going to use naive-Bayes? Are you going to use KNN? So kana siya, you should be able to differentiate those different algorithms kung kanus-ani mo siya gamiton. Although na mga times na pwede na to for comparison purposes, pwede na to sila i-compare. Kinay mga problems na pwede siya KNN, pwede siya naive-Bayes, pwede po siya support vector machine, pwede po siya ANN. Okay, so kana siya. Although we'll focus sa week 3, actually 2 weeks ding ANN because ANN is a really very big field. There are other courses na isa jud ka SEM ang ilahan gina allot for ANN alone. But since we are trying to focus on different machine learning algorithms, so we'll just be scratching the surface of the ANN for this course. Okay? So that's for week 3, day 1, and then we'll have the exam. On week 4, still on ANN, but we will be focusing on the a different part of the ANN, which is what are the different activation function, how does an ANN works, and so on and so forth. Most of the intelligent systems that we have nowadays or intelligent applications that we have today are actually based on ANN. Okay, so karon ang pinaka-powerful jud na algorithm, as I would say, is the ANN. Wala nag-alat jud ko og 2 weeks for that, just learning ANN. Okay, next is we will be learning on week 5 unsupervised learning and then pre-processing. Okay, so this time, kani siya ng mga algorithm, ginagamit, when we say unsupervised learning, you don't actually need to have what we call labeled data. Compared mo sa supervised learning man good, si supervised learning, you really need to have a labeled data. So when you say labeled data, for example, nakoy cat, a picture sa cat. Kailangan, ang label niya is cat jud na siya. Another picture sa cat or another image sa cat, hatagan ko na nimo siya label na cat mismo. And then, nanapod ko ikatulo na image. Butangan na po na ko siya label na cat. Okay? So, that is a labeled data. So, if na ako'y image sa dog, na ako'y label sa iyahang dog. Okay? That is for us to say as humans na kabalo mo identify og different data or images na kani siya is cat, kani siya is dog. Okay? So, natay, hatagan nato sila label. While an unsupervised learning is that i-feed lang nato sila og data, ang algorithm na mismo ang ma-identify sa labels. Okay? So, the learning process would be not based on the labeled data. So, mo na siyang ginatawag siya unsupervised because these kind of algorithms do not actually need knowledge from experts or people. Okay, si algorithm na mismo ang ginatawag na to siya cluster. Siya na mismo ang cluster of different groups and then siya na ma-identify kung kani siya is one group, this one is another group. So that is what we call unsupervised learning. So there are different algorithms na pwede mo gamitin for unsupervised learning type of solving problems. Okay, so although there are many, kung mas i-compare na to siya, there are more problems or tasks na mas okay siya i-solve using supervised learning algorithms kaysa sa unsupervised learning method ang imuhang gamiton. Okay? So, ang advantage lang yun kung gamit ka unsupervised is that, or basically if we say it, gamit ka unsupervised learning if you don't really have the labeled data. Wala yun na siya ang gist, ana. Gamit ka unsupervised learning pag you don't have the luxury of the labeled data. Okay, so kung kani siya na problem, gihatagan na kag problem, tapos gihatagan ka og mga data, pero wala, kulang sa information. Okay, so maybe we can solve it using unsupervised learning. But you really need to assess if you're the one coding or you are the one designing the model, if you're going to use unsupervised method or supervised methods. Okay, so that is for week 5. And then on week 6, we'll be focusing on clustering. So we'll be using k-means. And then how do we evaluate a clustering algorithm result? Okay, so muna siya ang for week 6. So that is for midterm. Week 7, we'll start with the finals na. Okay, this time we'll be focusing on different experiments. Okay, and then puro na tayo I will give you a lot of data that you can play with, and then different transformations na pwede ninyo buhaton. So, not like the first few weeks na medyo medyo focused yun kayo sa how the algorithm works. But this time, sa week 7, day 1 and day, how are we going to use those algorithms na natunan na to? Okay, so asa na to siya gamiton? So that is for the week 7. And then week 8 would be our buffer week. So this is really not required na matunan ninyo for the machine learning course, but I would say makatabang ni siya if we will be tackling this week 8 para sa inyong project. Okay? So day 1 would be actually about a language data. Kung ang inyong project will focus on language data, and then day 2 will focus on an image data if ang inyong project would require vision or kind of image data. So basically, the types of data, 2 types lang of source of data ang ato ang gamiton for this course: text data and image data. There are other data, like say for example, spatial data, kanang mga data sa dili siya kanang mga normal data na makita, image data na makita nato diri sa world. Mga spatial data would be kanang mga data taken from the satellite, kanang may spatial data na siya. We will also not be working with audio data. Okay, so nga no, because it's not my expertise, I would admit that dili na ko expertise ang audio data. So wala kayo ko'y mahatag na input pag kana na data ang inyong gamiton. Okay, so like dili na ko mo kaayo matabangan for that sa inyong project pag gamit ta og audio data. So I would say that for your project, you either choose work on text data or image data. But I will be biased on this one, sa language data, because this is my my interest. Okay, so language data gud ako. So if you will be working with text data or language data, then I would be happy to assist you with that. Okay, and then week 9 would be the finals. We'll allot this for your presentation, and then presentation of projects and so on. Okay, so that would be our outline for the whole 9 weeks. Okay, so medyo murag paspasayahan ko but again, as what I have said, whatever would be our pacing from week 1 to week 7, depende na siya kung mas paspas ta, mas maayo, makaabutan week 8 and madiscuss na ito ni siya. But if not, this would be the buffer week. Okay, so pwede na ito ma-adjust na ito mga lessons, and then we'll allot that for the week 8. Okay, so that would be for the outline, and then we'll have the evaluation, same with your other subjects. This is an institutional grading system. And so we will have assessment tasks, teaching learning activities, and then we'll have exam. Okay, so it would depend on the topic that we will be tackling kung unsa na activity ako ang ihatag sa inyo, ma'am. Okay, so some policies, since nata sa online, still we'll start with a prayer, and then attendance is not required, and you are also not required to really say anything during the course of the discussion sa class, not unless i-call out or tawagon ka mo to answer something. So pwede na ako na siya buhaton, so I would be requesting you to answer if ever na ako'y question. So it is highly encouraged that you participate in the discussion and that you ask questions. Okay, so I will really appreciate it if mag-ask no question kay ibig sabihin naminaw mo sa ako ang ginastorya. Okay, so it's really difficult. I would tell you that really on our part as well as the teacher, na difficult po sa amo aning online learning, since kana siya isa ka factor is that we can't see you, so dili may maka-assess kung still paying attention pa ba mo, nagapaminaw ba mo, but nevertheless, we will still be delivering the lesson, and we will really appreciate it if you will ask questions. And then again, I would ask you to show respect to your classmates and to your instructor. for this subject, and then kani siya. Okay, so you can read all of these policies na ani siya tanan sa Google Classroom. Okay, so to introduce myself, I'm Christine May Aglaon. So you can call me Miss Teen or you can call me Ma'am Teen. I'm okay with that. Okay, so kana siya. And then you can reach me through this mobile number if dili mo gana ang hotline. So nakoy gihatag na hotline nga nasa Google Classroom. So unsa tong hotline? Ang hotline is it's my way of connecting to you. Okay, I know some would feel shy na mo approach, like say for example, ma'am, naglisod naman ko sabot sa lesson, nga di na jud ko kaapas, ma'am, na. So you can send a message through the hotline. So wala na siya, dili pa mo i-require na ibutang ang inyong pangalan, dili pud na ako mabalaan ang inyong identity through that hotline. But if naamoy kailangan gyud i-inform sa ako, and then gusto ninyo anonymous lang mo, pwede ninyo na siya i-course through the hotline. Okay, so I'm very open to that. So instead na at the end of the course, dito na ako mahibalaan nga paspas ra kaayo o naglisod na mo, tapos medyo tagilid na di ay ang grado, lisod na siya na lisod na maapas. Okay, much better na as early as possible or during the time na naglisod ka ani na topic, i-inform din ko. Okay? So if you intend na, ma'am, gusto unta ko magkuan ka ng sa tawag na to na magpa-tutorial or something, I'm very open to that. Okay? So like we can arrange a schedule as long as available ko, and then pwede ko na. Okay? So you can message me through that hotline or Hangouts. You can just simply use my UIC email, and then you can connect through my social media platforms. Okay, although medyo dili kay ko responsive diari sa kanina mga platforms, but I do post medyo informative na mga materials or topics sa kanina mga platforms. Okay, so kung gusto ninyo mabalaan kung unsa ako ang mga interest in terms of research, coding and all, you can check out these social media platforms. Okay, so these are all my sa tawag na to background. Okay, so kanila emphasize lang ako na more on my research is on natural language processing, machine learning, and deep learning. So that's why this subject was given to me, or this course was given to me. Okay, so I'm very interested if you're doing or you will be doing a project in NLP. I'll be very willing to assist you on that. Okay, so kung mag-project mo, depende sa inyong subject, either in your SAD or in your software engineering, if it's about NLP or machine learning or deep learning, I'm very willing to help you with that. Okay, so I'm very active sa community. I do volunteer work. I moderate a certain club. I do review papers, research papers, and so on and so forth. And then these were the subjects that I was able to handle before. Capstone, emerging tech, cloud computing, ERP system like SAP Business One, SAD, software engineering, computer fundamentals, computer programming, and then object-oriented programming and data structures. So those are the subjects that I was able to handle before. Okay, so that's it for the about the course. Any questions so far? Okay, so if not,
ma'am,
yes po.
Ay, ma'am, na-inform ka, ma'am, na gi-move ang intram sa November.
Gi-move siya? Unsa na week?
Yes. Wait lang, may confirm sana ako, ma'am. Pero gi-move na, ma'am.
I see. Sige, sige. Um, I'll just ask kung when ang intramurals. Okay. Sige. So we will just simply adjust the outline based on the new schedule.
Okay po, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for informing me. Okay. So any other questions, information, suggestions? Okay, so if not, kindly go to your Google Classroom under classwork. Kindly answer the survey form. Wala na ako nag-require of name din na. I just wanted to know your background. Like say in programming, what programming language are you most comfortable of? And then, para makabalukod ko kung unsa ang inyong specific concern. Like for example, kindly tell me kung like say dili jud mo maka-access og desktop kay this subject medyo lisod siya kung naka-mobile lang mo like naka tablet or mobile phone. Kailangan jud ninyo og either you have a laptop or you have a desktop PC. Okay, so kindly tell me if namo yung ana na difficulties through the form. Okay, so I'll give you mga 5 to 10 minutes to do that.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Meron daw walang makapasok sa classroom.
Sino?
John Christian Prieto daw.
Ha?
John Christian Prieto daw, ma'am.
John Christian Prieto.
Ay, meron na.
Okay na?
Nakapasok po.
Okay, okay. Sige, sige. Okay. Okay, I think everyone has responded already. Okay, so thank you so much for the responses. At least kabalo karon na majority sa inyo is most familiar with the Java programming language. And that's good if the transition would be from Java to Python because it would be easier for you to, you know, um, to migrate from Java to Python in learning the language. So easier man to naan si Python. Okay, so it will not, you will not have hard time to do that. Okay, so I will be using, since nalay tulo ka buok na familiar sa Python. So maybe I'll allot a time next meeting to give an introduction on how to do things in Python. So like say for example, matrix manipulation, the different data structures na pwede nato gamiton in Python. So like list, like set, like ano pa ba? Kana silang very important in our machine learning na subject. Kana manipulation sa list, matrix, sa pa, dictionary. Kana sila na mga data types or structure ang ato ang gamitan. Okay? So, thank you so much for this one. So, with our lesson. So, I will be recording this lesson or discussion, and then I'll upload the slide sa classroom after each discussion. It depends if there are topics na mag-require ko sa inyo of advanced reading, then I will be uploading the pasok ang machine learning. Okay, so See, machine learning can loosely be interpreted to mean empowering computer systems with the ability to learn. Oh, wait. I need to record this one again. With the ability to learn. Okay, it's a subset of AI that provides systems the ability to automatically learn and improve user experience without being explicitly programmed. So with the use of different algorithms, machine learning algorithms, we can create programs or systems that can automatically learn based on its experience without being explicitly programmed. By explicitly programmed, we mean katong rule-based system. Okay? So again, rule-based is still can be still classified as a part of an AI system, but we cannot classify it as a machine learning method. Okay, so pwede tamingon nga, okay, parts sa artificial intelligence na solution will be rule-based. Pero di na siya machine learning method. Okay? Because, again, machine learning is a type of algorithm or method that learns from experience without being explicitly programmed. Okay? So that's machine learning. So dili ta makakita dito og if 1 print 1, if 2 print 2, if 3 dili tayo na. So machine learning is composed of methods and algorithms na dili siya explicitly programmed. So actually based on mathematical principles niya, ang mga solutions niya. Okay? Now, unsa si deep learning? Si deep learning is actually the state-of-the-art karon na solution for artificially intelligent na mga systems. Okay? So, deep learning is a subset of machine learning. So, part siya ni machine learning. Nga naman siyang siya sarili niya na environment or sarili niya na scope. It is because deep learning are group of methods or algorithms that is based on neural network. Si machine learning, scope lang niya or isa lang sa iyang mga algorithm, one of its algorithm is neural network. But deep learning, its focus is on the neural network na algo or method. So that is why some courses, mag-focus lang din na sila sa deep learning na method. Okay, artificial neural network itself or neural network itself, dako na din kaya na siya na field. Okay, although we will still be touching this one. Okay, so that's the difference between the three. So kung makadungog mo aning tulo ka terms, kaning tulo ka terms na ni, you should not be able to, or you should not now be confused with these three terms. Okay, so kaning tulo. Kay karon bisag ka ng mga kanang mga nag-work sa industry karon, pagpangutanon mo na sila, may sa ay, pareha naman na AI, pareha naman na machine learning, which is no, it's really not the same. Okay, you should be able to differentiate these three terms. Okay, now ilan sila na-akoy natin ang before, noon, medyo lang siya, recent lang siya, it's like 2 years ago, I attended this conference, and then one of the speaker said na AI is an emerging field. So when we say emerging field, bago lang siya na field. Okay? So I was, parang disappointed. So, wala na ko na minato na speaker because of that statement alone. Because it shows na she doesn't know what she's talking about. Okay? AI has been in the computing field for 72 years na. If you trace back the history of artificial intelligence, dugay na kayo ni siya nag-start. Okay? It started with, if you have watched katong imitation game, World War II pa lang, in the year 1943, so it's about more than 70 years na ni siya, na nag-start ang concept of artificial intelligence. Okay, it was Alan Turing who parang sana siya nag-conceptualize na machines could actually be as intelligent as human beings, or we can give intelligence to machines. Okay, so muna siyang si Alan Turing is considered to be parang the father of artificial intelligence na siya mga inana. Okay, so kato siya, it all started in 1943. So I would, if you're going to review this slide, pwede ninyo tanawin yung mga YouTube videos na ako ang gilink diare. And these are very parang informative kayo ni siya. While kani si Gray Walter is actually focused on hardware na part. Okay, so gano'n niya, nag-create siya og kaning tortoise-like daw na machine. Okay, so murag simulate niya how a tortoise would work. Okay, tapos through this machine. Okay, so or through this kaning siya nga prototype. Yan siya. So you can watch the video later if you have time. And then if you haven't watched yet Imitation Game, I would really suggest that you watch it. You would really see there how Alan Turing is very intelligent na mathematician. Okay? So there are a lot of things that I could say about Alan Turing, but let's leave it as is na nag-start jud ang concept of artificial intelligence in 1943. So, if naimingon sa inyo na bago lang ang AI, please do not believe them and kindly tell them na it started way back 1943. Okay, so daghan na kayo og mga AI scientists na nag-work ani siya na field. Although, bago lang siya karon ginagamit or bago lang siya na-appreciate by the researchers and scientists because we now have machines like laptops na taas kay mga specs na pwede nato gamiton. Okay, na maka-experiment na jud ta. Dili pareha sa una na katulang mga blessed with high-end na mga computers ang really generate or maka-create of mga intelligent systems. Okay, and then in 1950, okay, can you see Isaac Asimov na siya very visionary kayo ni siya na yes, we can create robots na will act like humans. Mo na siyang this is the very reason why pag moingon gani artificial intelligence or AI, people would usually pag you're not studying AI or you are not studying machine learning, people would really associate AI to robots. Okay, so pag makadungog sila AI, they would really associate it right away with robots. Okay, so it's because of these types of kanang mga sci-fi, na mga movies, no, na kanang pag mga bright gani kay na mga kuan kay usually ginapurma na nilag tao na mga robots tapos kuan mga intelligent sila. So it's actually started with the vision of Isaac Asimov. Daghan kay siya kanang mga kanang sana siya very wild ang iyahang mga imagination na nakaka-come up siya ug mga ani na mga prototypes of which naging inspiration siya of many sci-fi movies. You can watch this YouTube video that I have linked here para makita ninyo kung saan yung ginastorya. Okay, and the next is that in 1956, what I'm saying is that these are different people, notable people na nag-study of AI. Okay, so dili lang siya kay maimanta na ang sila taga-Google lang ang nag-study of AI or nag-start sa AI. No, there are actually people. So Marvin Minsky is from MIT. So, ano ni siya, lahat po ni siya, lahi po siya na kuan niya ha, kanang sanay way of thinking AI. So, ingon siya, it should be knowledge-based. Ano siya, we need to work with experts and then we program what experts would say, we create kanang pseudocodes or we create algorithms kung unsa to ginaingon sa expert, and then our system should act like an expert. Ano siya. But then, some researchers, gina-debate nila ang concept ni Minsky, ingon sila, dili, dapat mag-program ta, in a certain model. So like say, for example, we need to create a program like how the brain works. And then let the program learn. Okay, so mo po na ang mga concept po sa uban ng mga researchers or mga scientists. Okay, so nevertheless, karon with deep learning, kaning second concept ang nadaog. Okay, although Marvin Minsky, he died last year 2016, pero he was really a contributor of kanang field of artificial intelligence. Next would be kanisha, the first kanang movie na nag-depict of human-like na conversation. Okay, so kanisha si Hal. If you're going to watch the movie or if you have watched the movie Space Odyssey, gina-try niya or gina-depict niya ang intelligence sa human beings, and then makastorya siya. Okay, so although dili gini siya tinuod, but then the concept itself, mo na siya ang gina-try o portray sa artificial intelligence. Okay, intelligent enough to decide, intelligent enough to give suggestions, intelligent enough to have a conversation with a human being. So mo na siya to ang gina-try o achieve. Okay, so by the way, AI has two fields, school of thoughts. We have general AI and narrow AI. Ang machine learning is classified to be a narrow AI. General AI is, na din siya, pwede na nimo siya pagsagdan. Okay, so pwede na siya, pag ibutang mo siya sa world, mabuhi na siya, or like, di na nimo siya kailangan bantayan. Muna ang general AI, which is something that we still are not able to achieve. Okay, so naapata sa narrow AI. Okay, and then kani siya still a robot, si Shaky, na kaya niya sanay mo mulikay sa mga objects. So para sa ilaha is intelligent na siya, na na siya, di na siya mabangga, mangingana. Ginigamit niya siya vision, actually, computer vision. And then, here comes the 1973. Okay, so muna siya ang doom year sa AI. Okay, so 1973 is what we call the AI winter, wherein, as of this year daw, fundings for projects that involves artificial intelligence were cut off. Kaya ano daw, very slow daw ang progress, and still, ang ilang mga nabuhat pa daw, katong mga scientists before is, kanang very, pa siya, baby daw kayo ng mga AI. Which is wala na-achieve ang goal nila na parehas karon nga mga type of artificial na mga AI systems. So ang nakitabo is that they had a debate and then they cut off the budget for AI projects. So ibig sabihin, na-stop ang development sa AI during this year. Okay? So na-stop siya, so meaning pag walay funding, asa ka makapalit og mga materials for your experiments? Asa ka makapalit og mga devices? O paano ka makapalit og mga devices? So that was the difficulty of the AI researchers before, or the AI scientists during the winter. Pero there are still some schools and universities na wala sila nag-stop until in the year 1997, IBM released a system that could defeat mapildi niya ang isa ka tao. Garry Kasparov was actually the champion in chess at that time. Pero napildi niya si Garry Kasparov. So meaning, they were able to create a system, Deep Blue system, na ma-defeat na niya ang tao. It was intelligent enough, or it is intelligent enough to defeat the champion of that game. Okay? So, that was in the year 1997. And then, katong after that, daghan na kayo mga nanggawas na mga achievements sa AI community. In the year 2008, si Google nag-release siya speech to search na iPhone app and so on and so forth. Hangtod, very recently lang, diri sa Philippines, I think it was in 2017 lang, 2016, nag-start ang booming sa AI diri sa Philippines. Okay? So, although in globally, medyo ano na sila, active na sila since 1940s, 1950s, or 1980s for that matter. Pero dito sa Philippines, medyo baby pa lang siya. So gamay pa lang kayo ng mga researchers ang nag-experiment, machine learning experiment. Muna siyang, actually, sa ato ang curriculum, dito sa UIC, you are the first batch na mo undergo og kaning nga course. Okay? So, dili sa UIC. Okay, so murag pioneer mo ani. So kamo ang pinakauna na batch na maka-create og projects na nasa machine learning aspect. Okay, so hopefully at the end of the course, nindot siya na projects na worthy enough for a siguro symposium. Pwede tayo mapa-symposium. Okay, so let's see. Let's see our pace. Okay, so that is in 2017, and then we all know karon 2020 na naganit tayo mga Google Assistant, na tayo mga Google Home. Naghana kayo og application which is ako ipakita sa inyo niya. Okay? So, paspasa na to. And then industries, so actually karon si AI ma-apply na siya sa different industries. Kani siya, different industries. So daghan na kayo mga projects na ginabuhat for real estate, education, healthcare, especially healthcare. So since ang ato ang research trust diri sa UIC, especially sa CCS, College of Computer Studies, is on healthcare and education, we need to think of, as early as now, projects that is aligned with our thrust or our research thrust, which is healthcare and education. Okay, so kana siya. And these are the different companies that is actually leading the way towards general AI. So, mo na siya ang atong gina-try and achieve. General AI. Although si machine learning is not AI lang siya, but with deep learning, they are trying to achieve that general AI. So, kung ano ta, nagitay passion towards artificial intelligence mo, dapat na ito ang goal ka na maka-create ta og general artificial intelligence system. Okay, so with all that, with all this learning, ang atong scope would be machine learning. So dili nato ni siya scope dili nato scope sa kanina course ang artificial intelligence. Na ay specific course ani for computer science, BSCS lang, ni siya i-offer kaning AI, which will be next semester, I think. And then ang focus ani na course would be on machine learning and a little bit of deep learning through katong ANN, artificial neural network. Okay, so with all that, again, to narrow down your focus sa machine learning lang ta. Okay, so at least na mo yung bigger picture on what it is all about, and then try to narrow it down to machine learning. Okay, so we'll focus on learning. So we'll have same dapat ang ato ang definition of learning. So it's like intelligence. It covers a broad range of processes that it is difficult to define precisely. So there are, in different fields, lahi ang ilang definition sa learning. But if we are going to define it in a generic way, it is to gain knowledge or understanding of a certain skill through studying or um, through through doing a teaching or instruction or learning it through experience. Okay, so like say for example, ako, I'm best, I the best way for me to learn something is to teach something. Okay, so after na ko na siya na-gain nga knowledge, kailangan ako na siya ma-teach. And then, para ma-enhance pa na ko ang knowledge or ako ang na-learn na bagay. Okay? Nayuban nga, basahon lang nila, okay? Ano na yun siya, mag-stick na sa ilaha for the rest of their lives. Okay? So, kana siya katong mga kuan kayo mga memory. And then, napayuban na through experience. Okay? So, katong mga, ang ilahang type of intelligence is through experience. Katong mga kinesthetic people, nabaw na itong mga kinesthetic people na mas best sila maka-learn if nag-interact sila sa ilang environment. Okay? And then, some modification of behavioral tendency. Okay? So, that is learning. And then, when we say machine learning, it's actually the how we do updates and modification to our programs and use our data to improve the performance of a certain system. Okay, so basically, in the simplest explanation of it, when they say machine learning, it's actually giving the capability of our programs and our machines to learn something and then improve the performance or solve a certain problem or a certain task. Okay, so that's machine learning. Now, let's try to create a program with this one. So I need you to unmute your mic and then tell me if you're going to create a program that will identify which is if a certain object is an orange or an apple, how are you going to do that one? Okay? Sige daw, anyone. If you're going to create a program, a pseudocode now, how are you going to create a program that will identify if a certain object is orange or an apple?
Mag-base sa color, ma'am.
Base sa color. Okay, very good. Mag-base sa color. Okay, so if red, no, that would be an apple. If yellow or something like orange man siya, that would be an orange. Okay, so what else? Unsa pa kaya?
So, shape, ma'am.
Ha?
So, shape.
Sound sa?
Shape, ma'am. Shape.
Shape. Okay, shape. Very good. Okay, so pwede ko shape if round, and then if heart shape, pwede nito siya na gamitan. Okay, pwede na ito na siya gamitan na features. Okay, so very good now. We can do the shape and we can do the color. Okay, next is, if we have this one, we can always add sa tuwang if statement katong a feature na color. So if red and or green, so dili na siya and, but or. So if the color is red or green, then most likely that object is an apple, and then so on and so forth, the same thing. But what if we have this kind of data? Or we have this enormous type of objects that we need to identify or we need to classify. So a rule-based system, katong atong gibuhat kanina, mo to siya a type of a rule-based, explicitly programmed good pag-identify, which is dili na siya applicable if ang atoang data ingani siya kadaghan or ingani ka complicated, ingani ka complex. Okay, so we need although na yung mga types of program na kaya na siya if else, especially katong mga bounded, okay, na mas okay pa mag if else ana kay mas sure pa ang result kaysa gamitan nimo siya og mga complex kay na mga method. But there are data na complicated enough na dili siya kaya og rule-based type of systems. Okay? So that's what machine learning is all about. It's a computer program that is said to learn from an experience, okay, with respect to some task or problem and performance measure. If its performance on the task as measured by P or your kanisha improves by some experience of E. Example, what do you mean by this one? Kanisha na pipeline. In the game of chess, the task is create a program that should be able to play chess. Okay, so that is your task. Performance measure, percentage of games won against opponent. So meaning, you would know that your program is learning something or is actually a good machine learning program if the percentage of games won against its opponent is actually increasing. Nag-improve ang iyahang performance. Okay? And then the experience would be, it should be able to learn from the game itself. Okay? So, your program should be able to learn based on its game experience. So, muna siya ang experience. So, these are three variables na i-consider na to if we want it to learn something. So, very important, again, emphasize lang ako ni siyang performance measure or evaluation. Okay, because not all tasks has the same performance measure. Next is a task called recognition or handwriting recognition. Okay, so muna siya yung task. Performance measure would be percent of words correctly satisfied or correctly identified. Experience would be a set of labeled data that has the handwritten na mga samples. Okay? So for example, tanawan mo na ako'y image sa handwriting. So usually image gini siya, images gini siya. Na ako'y image na nakasulat, "Hello world." Ang label na ko ani niya would be something like this one. So butangan din ako siya og label na of course identified by the user na siya. Okay? So kung na ako'y handwriting na A, klase-klase na tao, klase-klase po siya handwriting. So basically ang ato ang data ana would be a lot of samples of letter A, na naputay lahi-lahi na samples of letter B, lahi-lahi po na samples sa letter C, and so on and so forth. So that is your data. So imagine kung unsa kadaghan na data na siya ang imong i-go through. Okay? So basically, based on what I have said, klaro kayo na ito ang gamiton na type of machine learning method would be a supervised machine learning method or supervised machine learning algorithm, because we will be needing labeled data. Okay. Next would be, so let's say we have a certain task like driving on public four-lane highways using sensors. The average distance traveled before an error is encountered. So you would know that you have created a system that has learned on the task of driving by pag ang imong car, like say for example, this self-driving car, maka-drive siya na walay bangga-bangga na mas layo in a long distance. So, muna siya yung performance measurement. Okay? So, basically, a different task could have different performance measurement. Okay? So, why we do machine learning? Of course, with all those katong mga problems na kaya na ito ma-solve, why not, di ba? So, kana siya. And then, I would tell you, there are a lot of developers, especially katong mga ano na sila, ang sa tawag na to, comfortable na sila sa traditional na type of system that are not intelligent systems, that are not expert systems. They would try to question everything about AI and machine learning. So you really need to have a strong foundation in terms of what machine learning and why do machine learning. Because there are really some tasks that is difficult na using lang without machine learning methods. Okay? So different application, face detection and recognition, okay, so on. Machine translation, emails. So kung mapansin ninyo, ang inyong email, ano na kaya siya, intelligent na kaya siya in recognizing, like say for example, kani siya na example, nag-try ko send email, tapos ningon ko, please see attached file, tapos wala ko i-attach na file, mag-prompt siya sa kuan na you have not attached any file. Okay, so intelligent enough. Mapansin po na ninyo sa inyong emails that if you're going to write, na siya auto-suggest, mag-auto-suggest na siya kung sa imong next word based on the words that you have been using in your email. So let's say for example sa ako, I normally use the word po in my communication, especially if those are elders or something. Medyo naanad na dyan kung magamit og po na word. Usually sa email, mag-suggest na siya na after na word, mabutangan na siya po and so on and so forth. Okay, so kana siya. You can try that one in your using your Gmails. Okay, tapos medical diagnosis, kana siya. Pwede po na siya karot kung tanawon nato. Naghana kayo mga AI systems for health. Okay, pero open field paghihapon kayo ni siya, daghan pa kayo problems na kailangan i-solve for medical diagnosis. And then conversational AI. This is something that is very interesting actually. Nakita na ko ni siya na article of which, kaya si GPT-3 is actually a neural network, a deep learning method. Ang gigamit niya, which is called the transformer. Okay, so hopefully makaabot pa tag-discuss niya about GPT-3. But GPT-3 is actually an algorithm that uses a neural network na ang niyang gibuhat is that nagasige lang siya og create og nag-interact siya sa mga conversation sa Reddit. Okay, and then 1 week wala naka-notice na bot na dito ang ilahang ka-chat or ang ilahang nag-comment di adto. Okay, so that was actually a very advancement in the natural language processing field. Okay, so NLP is a really good field. So I would encourage you to do research on NLP. Okay, and then another technology na nagagamit of deep learning is deepfakes and face swap technology. Kali siya, kung familiar mo ani. So deepfakes, kung na kayo siya karon ginagamit although dili kayo na to ma-appreciate ang iyang advantage, but yeah, the kay experiments about mas nag-way down daw ang iyang negative effect compared to positive effects. But yeah, this is still an advancement in machine learning, okay, or deep learning. Okay. Next is okay, we're almost done. Those springs of machine learning. So as a gikan machine learning, the mathematical methods or mathematical principles that we will be using in the next few days would come from statistics. And then most of the time, magamit lang katong mga probabilities. And then concepts in mathematics like linear algebra, calculus, discrete structures, magamit kayo nato na sila. Okay, kanang matrix manipulation, and then vectors, tensors, kana sila na mga terms. Ma-learn nato na sila during the course of our study. And then brain models, machine learning, specifically sa deep learning siya. Machine learning doesn't really simulate brains, but deep learning. Okay, si deep learning kay through neural network, kay si neural network is loosely inspired by brain. Kani siya na mga model is actually inspired po din siya na concept. And then using the environment, kani siya adapted control theory, and then evolutionary models like if you have heard about genetic programming and genetic algorithms, ginagamit po na siya. Okay? Next, applications, data, and problems. So, daghan kay applications ang machine learning AI. You can scan all through these links na kung ang gibutang diari. Pwede nyo na siya kung anong diari i-check. And then, kato. Pwede ninyo i-click ng mga links diari na kung ang gibutang to check this one out. But, I will be biased on this one because the applications that I have placed in here are in the NLP na field, natural language processing. But ako gibutan specifically in collaborative filtering. Collaborative filtering is actually ginagamit niya siya sa recommender systems. Pag may recommender systems ka na, for example, sa YouTube, once na nakay ginatanaw ng mga videos, like in succeeding, kaya niya ma-identify kung unsa na type na video ang imong ginatanaw, and then mag-suggest na siya the next time na mag-open ka sa imong app, ang iyang mga suggestions is based on what you were previously watching. Okay? Same as with news. Okay? So, even though di na sila magbutang tinaog ka ng mga specific type, like say for example, ay mga gusto lang tanawin is about entertainment na type of news. Wala na sila ginabutang. Ang ginasuggest na nila sa imo na news is based on the articles that you are actually opening or reading. Okay? So, wala na lang mga okay, kanina news is about entertainment, kanina news is about sports, kanina news is about, dili na kayo na siya ginagamit karon. Intelligent enough na kayo ang mga web pages karon to know kung unsa ang ilahang ihatag sa imo suggest sa imo nga next nimo basahon based on your previous experience. So that is collaborative filtering. Okay? And so on and so forth. Tagan kayo kung gipamutang diari na you can check na mga different application that would somehow give you an idea on what type of project ang pwede nato mabuhat. Okay? So, kato siya. So, I'm going to give you an example. So, for example, kanisha, again, as what I have said, video and text data ang ato ang most likely focus. So, example, kaning natural language API. Okay? So, I'll share on what type of sino siya? Ang pwede nato mabuhat, what type of projects or what type of web applications ang pwede nato mabuhat with machine learning. Okay, this is just an example. Katong mga applications na akong gipakita ganina, pwede ninyo to scan and then para magka-idea lang mo kung mahatagan lang mo og gist sa mga type of applications na pwede nyo buhatan. Okay, so I'll share this one. Okay, so this is an example of a natural language API. Okay, so intelligent enough to analyze this certain text or paragraph. Okay, although sa English lang siya applicable. If we can actually do something like this one for Filipino or for Bisaya or for Cebuano, then that would be a really good project. Okay, so again, English lang siya nag-work. Okay, so this one, if I'm going to click on analyze, you can go to cloud.google.com natural language. If I'm going to click on analyze, kaya niya ma-determine ang different entities, and when we say entities, kabalo siya na kaning Google is an organization, Mountain View is a location, Sundar Pichai is a person, kabalo siya na phone is a consumer good, kabalo siya na amphitheater, kani siya, is a location. Okay, and so on. Kani din, specific na address, 16, number 12, kani siya, is an address. Okay, so na siya yung na tagging, kaya niya siya matag. This is actually This is actually using a certain algorithm in supervised learning method. Okay, so nagagamit na sila og supervised learning algorithm. And then, so this is what we call named entity recognition. Okay, so if you want to do a project about NER or named entity recognition, mo ni siya ang pinaka-best na example na mapakita nako about NER. And then, we have sentiment analysis. So, the entire document, kaya na mag-determine kung a certain magnitude sa the whole sentiment. So, when they say, kani siya, sana siya? Pag red, very negative, or kani siya, red is negative, green is positive, and then yellow is neutral. So, mahibalan na niya if kaning whole content sa imuhang document na gipabasa sa iya ha, or kani siya na phrase, is positive or negative, or has a negative or positive tone. Okay? So, based on the magnitude. Okay, so na siya gibutang diri na 0.5. So pag may matag 0.5 is within the range of 0.25 to 1.0. So basically positive siya. So on and so forth. So the whole document, walay red man ka na nakita di ara, most likely this is a positive na statement. So asa naman natin siya magamit? Let's say for example, kaya natong ma-determine if a certain comment sa Facebook or sa Twitter, a certain tweet is giving a positive or negative sentiment. Okay, so pwede nato na siya gamitan. Syntax and categories. So, kani siya medyo complicated na ni siya. Kailangan na nato dinali og NLP na subject for this one. So, which is something na dili nato kayo i-focus sa machine learning. Okay, but basically, this is a very good application. This is in NLP, and then categories, and so on. So, na siya asan niya mabilong ni siya na type of statement under Internet Telecom Open Networks. Okay, so this is a natural language API demo. And then we have the Vision API. Okay, so you can go to cloud.google.com Vision. Pwede ninyo, kani siya na API, pwede ninyo siya gamiton to recognize image recognition. So for example, I'm going to upload an image. So let's say for example kani siya, tanaw nato unsa niya gibasa ani. Okay? So kaya niya ma-identify through the faces of these children na nagahatag sila og wala kayo, dili kayo niya dili kayo niya ma-detect. Okay, but these are the different most likely emotions na gina-portray sa image. Although very likely daw nga na siya head repair, so which is yes, true. Pero kani siya ang medyo medyo questionable siya. Okay, most likely sorrow manuntan niya ang ilang ginawa. Let's try another one. Let's try this image. He said, okay, so kaya siya, klaro siya na ang iyahan na detect ng emotions of this image is joy. Okay, so kung makita nato joy ang iyang ginhatag na image. Okay, and then so on, labels. So kanyang mga different labels. You can actually use this API, JSON script lang man siya. Let's say if you're creating an applications na for detecting the images, okay, or classifying or identifying, recognizing emotions in a certain image, pwede niyo siya magamit na API. Okay? So, Vision API. Automatic na siya maghatag og JSON script sa inyo ha. Okay? So, that is for the Vision. But, of course, dili lang man ta kay mugamit lang ta og API. No, we need to know how this one works. So, paano niya naka-identify na joy ni siya? Paano niya na-identify na surprise, anger, and so on. So that's the whole goal of learning machine learning or taking the machine learning course. Okay, so that's with the API. Now, let's go back to the presentation. Okay, so that's the two APIs that you can explore ninyo siya, and then pwede niyo siya gamitin sa inyong mga projects. Okay, but not with the capstone. Okay, next, so those are application. Next, we go to the data. It's very important that we know the data. There are different types of data that we will be encountering. Either it's a vector type, vector data type, a list, a set, a matrix, an image, a video, trees, and graphs. Okay? But most of the time, ang type of data na ma-encounter nato is a compound structure, meaning a combination of different data types. Especially pag text type of data or language type of data. Okay. Problems that we will be solving, either it's a regression type of a problem, so you should be able to identify pag regression is siya na problem, or classification of problem, or recognition, or detection, or prediction. Okay, and then the programming language and tools that we will be using. So basically, training a machine learning model is very hardware, very hungry kaysa sa hardware. But fortunately, we have Google Colab, which we will be using. So you can access this one through colab.research.google.com. Dira ta mag-train og model. Okay, so dira ta mga experiments para makakuha ta og model. Dili na nato kailangan og mga hardware pa, high-end, high-spec na mga devices. Although, this would require you to be connected on the internet. Okay, so kato lang yung apan. So, I would say na mas okay ni siya na solution compared sa mupalit pa ta og mga high-end na mga machines. Kay dati man good, gidesign ni siya na course na for laboratory. Kung napakata diri sa laboratory, pwede na ito magamit ang mga PC dire. But since unfortunately wala man ta, we will be using Google Colab. Okay, so you can access this one through colab.research.google.com and kindly use your UIC email account in creating an account in Colab. Okay, and if you have a GitHub, please connect your GitHub to your Colab para dali lang code kayo, and then tell me kung unsa yung GitHub para ma-check po na ako na tayo version control sa ito ang programs. Okay, although I will not be requiring that much. Kanina ako i-require sa inyo ha, you access and create, although automatic na siya pag naamo yung UIC email, check how Colab actually looks like. Okay, and then majority of our codes will be in Python. Okay, so it would help you if magsugod na mo og study sa Python. And then projects would be web apps. So, saan siya? Dili kayo kung mag-focus in teaching you how to create web systems. But I would suggest na mag-start with mo basa-basa about Django and Flask. Although, for beginners, kung karon pa lang ka mag-start, I would recommend na mag-Flask ta. Kaya dali na dito kayo magbuhat di ara sa Flask. As in, dali ra gid siya. So, na ako yung mga buhaton na tutorial, pero daghan kayo available sa web na pwede ninyo studyhan. And try to create a simple lang na mga apps using Flask. Okay? Nganong Flask and Django man because they are Python web frameworks. Okay? So, para mugana ang mga models na to ang i-train sa Colab or sa to ang PC, try na to siya o deploy as a web app. Okay, para ma-appreciate na to ang niyahang saan na siya, ayan result. And pwede na to siya mapakita sa itong mga friends and pwede na to sila ma-present. Okay, pakita na to during a symposium. Okay, through a web. So, lain man po dug ka na experimental lang siya. Like, sa Colab lang na to siya iparan. Okay, next is our virtual environment. We'll be using Anaconda. So, I would suggest that you install this one sa inyong PC. Kani siya kailangan ng high-end. So, bisan pa og nasa 2 gigabytes, 4 gigabytes of RAM lang ka, pwede na ka makaparun o Anaconda. Okay? As your virtual environment. Okay, pero as we go along, i-guide man tamo kung saan siya kagamit. But I would suggest na as early as now, before our next meeting, nakatry na muna mag-install, mag-navigate, mag-explore sa kanya ng mga technologies. Okay, different libraries that we'll be using, of course, we'll be using scikit-learn, we will be using NumPy, we will be using Matplotlib, and then Seaborn, and many other libraries, okay, which we'll be encountering as we go along with our discussion. Okay, so that would be all. Any question? Hello, wala din ako napakita ng ano. Wala rin nakita ganina. Okay, so
Nakita, ma'am.
ayan. So these are the different programming languages and tools. So again, ganina, morning problems, and then data. I don't know kung asa ko nag-stop. Okay, so I think that. Okay, so different data and then programming languages and tools. Okay, so far question. Nakita ay. Okay. Wala na? Okay, so muna to siya. That would be for the introduction for this subject. So if you don't have any question, I have an activity for you. Nasa kasi mo. Okay, so if you're going to go to your Google Classroom, kindly check week 1 under introduction na ako'y activity, which will be your first TLA. I would want you to explore this link, experiments.google.com. This is actually a collection of different AI projects, and then choose at least 3 experiments na you find very interesting. Sa tanaw nimo, interesado ka ano nga type of experiment. Okay, so dili kailangan nga kabalo ka na, pero basta you find it interesting, gusto lang na kumaybalaan ng mga interest sa group, sa class, and then kindly write an essay about it. Okay, what was your experience in doing the experiment? Okay, dali lang mo ng mga experiment, like say for example, mag-play lang ka o kung kabalo ka mag-piano, na-experiment dito na duha mo kabok na mag-play, and so on and so forth. Okay, so these are different projects that you can actually use. Okay, daghan kay pilianan dito, you choose kung asa dito ang you find very interesting, and then you write an essay about it. Okay, so you write it in a Google Doc, and then save the file or write the title TLA.01.experiments with AI, and then submit your work in this certain activity. Okay, so that would be due 11:59 p.m. Okay, by the way, as what I have said, if you are having a hard time in complying the requirements, please do not hesitate to inform me ahead. Okay, para dili dili lang sa at the end of the course pala, at the end of the course na dito pa nato may balaan nga. Except for example, na there can difficulty in submitting requirements. Okay? So, any more questions? Wala na. Maka-access ba tanan sa classroom? Okay, so I guess that would be all for this afternoon. Please submit your first TLA and see you next meeting. Okay? Like me, can you lead the closing prayer?
Okay po, ma'am.
Ay, isa ka student nga nagkategorya. Hala, kinsa? Kinsa ang student? Si Longhas. Longhas? Sa kuha mang sa record na ako kay walay nagkatuwan. Kat3 and Kat2 tanan. And wala po yung nag-bid courier. I think scrap na ang career. Pero i-check na ko na siya. I-try na ko consult or try na ko ask si Ma'am Darlene about this one. Okay? Cut 2 with career, ihanapin mo. Cut 2 with career. Okay. Sige. Ask na ako si Ma'am Darlene kung saan ba tanan. Okay? So, any concern pa? Okay, so if none, kindly submit your TLA, first TLA, and Laimi, may I request you to lead the closing prayer?
Okay po, ma'am. All together in the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, thank you for this day. I hope daghan ning natunan og makaya namo ning mga task or kanina subject og mo graduate ni sabay-sabay. Amen.
Okay. Amen. In the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, so that would be all. Bye, everyone. See you next meeting.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.